Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Triple Q podcast. Today, we have episode 3 rolling out, and this is post NA LCS Finals. So that'll take up for most of our episode, and we're trying out a newer format this week again. Also, just seeing what works and what doesn't, along with the first 2 episodes. So this week, after we go over our experiences with the LCS and go into that live event, we're just gonna take it over with some more general questions regarding the 3 main topics we take up, which is League, Overwatch, and Hearthstone, and then let the person responsible for those do either the big questions or answering the questions the other 2 has. So joining me today, there is.
Hello, I'm Mid, or Toki, whatever.
Saw, dude, I'm Polty.
And I am Alan. So, big news we talked about last week. The NA LCS Finals happened, and that was pretty hypey.
Let's
It
go.
was really fun to go to.
My throat, dude, ripped my throat.
Yeah, there's a lot of screaming for basically any play that was there. So I kind of wanted to start off with a question. We've been watching League online basically ever since the esports scene really hit, which is I think what I consider would be season 2.
Yeah.
Like all the IPLs, IEMs, MLGs in that season leading up to Worlds. I think that was the big sort of starting point for competitive league and online viewership. So how did it feel for you guys being in a large stadium full of fans cheering?
Man, you want to go first?
Sure.
Alright.
I've played in a smaller version, a smaller land before with a crowd of 100, and that doesn't even compare to what it must feel like to play in a crowd of 100,000 and whatnot. The crowd and the energy inside the crowd was unlike anything else. No stream can ever replicate the energy and the hype and the fun
The
of actually
stream can
going to a
replicate the
LAN version.
NRG. Sorry.
Everybody.
Benched. Benched.
Alright.
Yeah, but going off of that, I remember just like looking at the VODs. I'm not gonna lie, I was gonna see if we were in camera, but we weren't.
Bruh, cringe.
But I was just checking because they have some highlights that they show and some clips that we don't see on the big screen, right? Because
Yeah.
they take audience shots of it, and yeah, they have to sort of mute the audience a bit because it does interfere a bit with just production. So it is a bit quieter, but being there, you can actually you actually know for a fact that they do mute it a lot because at first I thought it was like, oh, it's only a little bit mute. You still hear the crowd, whatever. But there, it's like 100 times the energy, 100 times the volume, just because everyone's so hyped for having a live event, especially being the first one in Canada for League.
It also gets to a point where you can't even hear casters, which I
Yeah,
don't
it was
That's
mind, but
bad.
that's really
that's.
fun.
I feel like that's only because you're sitting beside me and Harris. We're yelling our heads off.
Yeah. Sorry, man.
I'm not. What?
Oh,
Oh, I don't want you to
That
be sorry,
stadium was
man.
hyphy.
That's the point of going to a LAN. Show the energy.
yeah, it was nice
Get
for
out there and scream
Canada.
your
It
head
was
off.
nice for the Canadians to show off our support.
All right, Harris, what were your first impressions of it, or your general impressions of the event?
My general impressions, well, I've never been to like a gaming event like that, so that was my first ever event. I do have experience in League, of course, but like I haven't been following League in a while, so it was like a good refresher for me, and it inspired me to play League again.
Yeah, that's basically what happened with the 3 of us. We started after like huge hiatus. I don't think the last time I played was probably early this year, like February or something. Like I'm pretty sure that was the last game, like last period of time where we constantly played.
And
Not
and
like we
and
played like one
and
game.
Twisted Tree Line, yo, that's all we played.
Yeah, yeah. So it wasn't even like full 5v5 league. Um, yeah, and it actually brought us back. I'm actually enjoying playing the game now.
Hell yeah.
Um,
Wait till we start playing ranked. You'll know why we quit.
I mean, I don't really care. I'm pretty sure we quit playing ranked because the people we played with weren't playing anymore, or and we also were just playing 3v3. We weren't even playing 5v5. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
I think also because we got really busy. Like earlier this year, yeah, yeah, it was coming. Second semester was coming to a close in February, and I just got really busy. I'm pretty sure Ming got busy too, and so did Harris with just midterms and exams in general.
Yeah.
So that's contributed to the fact of it, just because we couldn't play as dedicated as we could. Yeah, but from my general impressions, yeah, it's basically the same thing I've been saying for the past like 5 minutes now. It was just really hyphy crowd. I really love the energy. Um, yeah, I would say just judging from being there as well as seeing other events not in the studios but at live venues like the ones that they had in Paris. That was MSI. Was that MSI? Yeah,
I believe so.
yeah, and the crowds in Korea for Worlds, LA for Worlds, like all those live events. I might say Toronto had is up there for energy and being just a great crowd. I might be biased because I was there, but I have a feeling that it was just a general, um, very enthusiastic and very energetic crowd because technically we're NA, but this is the first event this far north, which I
Yeah.
think is a long time coming.
Yeah. Yo, you guys want to talk about some stories
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
from the
We
event?
can go to stories.
Alright.
All right.
I'll
Before
let me talk about
wait,
the.
wait.
Alright, sure.
All right. Before we talk about our the actual event itself and um the results of the finals and implications of that, we can just talk about general uh adventures from that day since we were on a low news story week. Since nothing really came out for Hearthstone since the new week hasn't come out yet.
Well, week 3 came out since the last
Well,
time we
yeah,
talked.
week three came out since we last, but week four too. I feel like for Hearthstone, 2 weeks per each is a pretty good summation of that. And for Overwatch, nothing really big happened. We can just talk about our PTR impressions since me and Harris have joined have joined Min in climbing and have a better understanding of what PTR is. Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna start off for the day.
Hey.
Yeah, so the day before it was actually really exciting because I knew it was live at the event. That was the third and fourth place match. It was live in the ACC, but we weren't there because we only got tickets for
Finals.
Finals.
the
Finals.
finals because of prior scheduling. So we only got tickets for the finals, and the third and fourth place match was actually like really exciting because it's like five, like that series was one of the longest series for the LCS season this season just because it went to 5 games, which isn't uncommon now because almost every semifinal match was 5 games. But the matches itself were 45 minutes long, 50 minutes long, and one of them was even approaching 60 minutes long. And that was the Immortals versus CLG. So that got me really hyped for the day after. And then, so I was the first one to get to the venue because Min was waiting for Harris, and Harris was
Yeah.
taking a bit longer.
Wake up late, like always, yo.
Yeah. So I was the first one to get down there. It was downtown Toronto. So I was roaming around, just looking at the gallery area for the ACC, which is basically um, just this outside sort of viewing area where they held fan activities. So these fan activities included sign making, so you could see the signs, or you can make the signs that people usually had for the LCS events. I think that was a pretty good. That's a pretty funny uh, thing they had because a lot of the people were actually really excited to do that, and some of their signs were really funny. For me, the Harambe signs were at the top. What about for you guys?
Yeah. Yo, free Tyler one, yo.
Free Tyler one.
Free
I forgot about
Tyler
that.
one.
Free Tyler one.
Free
Free
time.
Tyler one.
That's my
What about you,
boy.
Min?
There's too many signs I actually liked. I can't actually pick one, to be honest.
Yeah. And some signs people actually put like effort into. Like they drew out champions and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
I even saw
So
like a fully fledged TSM logo and I looked like exact replica. Like, damn. The
yeah.
amount of work that would take.
Alan, who'd you meet
So
in the
then
morning?
oh yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to
Alright.
that because like I'll go through the rest of the gallery. So they had some TV showing the EU LCS finals match, and then if you keep going, there was a Mumu costume that some person was in, so you
Hey.
could take a picture with that. They even had the Summoner's Rift, what would you say, loading screen, but instead it just has master borders, and then for each lane, so top, jungle, mid, bot, and people could stand behind it and take pictures. So I thought that was pretty cool. Um, a running joke was that Harris couldn't pose and actually be in one of those photos because they had the flash on F and not D,
Bruh.
because Harris has it on D.
Yo, don't hate, man.
I'm not. I'm not. You're just abnormal.
To each their
And so
own.
then moving, and so then afterwards, going out, there was actually a huge line, and that was for the lanyards. When I got there, they were already out, so I was really sad because that's like the one thing
Feels
that
bad,
I wanted.
man.
And then there's another line. Now this line, guess who I find at the end of the line? Skara. I'm like, yo,
Hey.
Skara is right there. I don't care how long. I gotta wait for Min and Harris anyway. I'm gonna stand in this line, and then I knew I sort of had the expectation that I wasn't gonna make it, but whatever, because the line was pretty long, and then it was because Skara got out of his cab, and then his fans caught him, and he's like, okay, sure, whatever, I'll do a fan photo shoot or and meet and greet, right? So that's pretty cool of him because he
Yeah.
literally got from his hotel, got to the location, and he was pretty cool about it. So he went into the venue and was escorted inside because he had to do stuff. Um, and then everyone dissipated. And then right behind Scar, I'm like, who is that? And I recognized Travis. And I'm like,
Hey.
Travis Gafford, State of the League Travis. I'm like, I gotta meet Travis. Because he's one of the people that's been in the league scene that isn't a pro player, but that everyone knows just because of the work he's done for league. Remember what I said? Without Travis, there can be no double lift because he'd be just out on the streets, out doing whatnot.
Yeah. I love his interviews. I actually love his interviews.
Yeah, I got a cool photo with him. He's a pretty cool guy, chill dude.
Shout out, yo.
Um,
Give a shout
yeah, shout out to Travis
out.
for that photo, and also signed my NAR poster, which is really cool of him. And after this time, Min and Harris came, and so then
Hey.
because Min had the tickets,
Sorry for being
uh,
late, yo.
well, they made it. So, um, yeah, doors open at 1:30. They got around
2.
2:30. 2? Yeah.
2.
So we didn't
Yeah.
miss much. There wasn't really that much inside, except for lines for merch and stuff.
Yo, the free merch
But yeah,
though.
Min and Harris got there, and you want to take over for what happened after, Min?
Afterwards, I was just inside the venue, and we were walking in. We were thinking of getting a poster, but we were just too lazy to wait in line, so we just went into the actual venue. We went around the laps, going through the merch stores, seeing what merch store would have the shortest line, or I don't know, was it like 3 laps until we actually decided to stand in the line?
Yeah, they probably
Something
had
like that.
4 merch stores all across, all around the arena, and then we're just like walking around seeing what we could
Hold
find.
on. Yo, shout out to the guy with the bucket full of free merch. Thanks for the thanks for the wristband, take my lantern, take the lantern, and the I hate slash love Timo wristbands.
Yeah, the wristbands that they have at ride events.
I saw your wristband. You're having it on. I love Timo. I see you guys.
What?
I'm the only one that had it on. I hate Timo.
Nah, I'm like
That's because you're a
I'm.
hater, man.
It
That's
depends
because
on the
you're a
day
hater.
for me. It actually depends on
Yeah,
the day.
same.
Yeah.
I see you. I see you. Anyways, we walk around. Apparently, Harris and Alan spotted Pokemon, or was it?
It's
Like
Pokemon.
Pokemon,
three.
It's
dude. Pokemon.
yo my.
Oh, I'm
Min,
Don't worry,
sorry,
man.
but
jeez.
anyways, you saw her like 3 times and choked all 3 times.
Bro,
I know, no, no,
That
okay.
was
Alright,
entertaining for me.
alright.
Yo, Alan,
Alright.
explain it. The real
Alright,
story.
I'll explain
The
this. I'll
real
explain
story.
this. Okay, so Harris and my goal was to get as many league personalities and see if we could take pictures of them and get them to sign my poster or whatever.
My.
Harris was looking for the streamers, right?
Hey.
So we're like, okay, there's a lot of Toronto streamers and a lot of Toronto people and people coming to this event. We'll see how many we can find, right? So we were joking about Pokemon because we saw that she was taking over the league
Snapchat.
Snapchat for
Yeah.
the day, right? So like I
She's here.
jokingly we were like, all right, we're gonna look at her photos in the league Snapchat, and then we can track her and we can
Not stock
um
though. Not stock.
No. We just like see if we say if we know where she is, and then maybe take a picture or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And so we were joking about that, but we never actually did it because it was just whatever.
Yeah.
It wasn't really that big of a deal until we actually confirmed that she was there because we were, as Min was saying, we were walking laps around the building, and
Yeah.
then so there's basically two lanes. One lane on the outside, which is where we were, and that's going in one direction, and then the other direction, that's where we saw Pokemon. And then she was walking, and then me and Harris did a thing where we both saw her at the same time.
Yeah, we just
We
looked.
both saw,
We
but
just
then
walking
but then
and
like
looked.
it didn't register in our brains until we both looked at each other, and then we gave each other a look. We're like, was that? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we turned around. She was gone. And we're like, oh, okay,
And then
whatever,
we just did another
whatever.
lap. We would do another
We and
lap.
then we kept doing laps. We were scoping out
Yeah, just
scoping out the area
yeah, just
for the merch, and just because the EU LCS finals were still going on, it wasn't really
nothing else to
um
do. We just look
yeah
around.
and watch the finals, I guess. But
Yeah.
we just wanted to walk around anyway because
I'm
they had the
not gonna
finals
lie.
streaming on the TVs in
I'm
the
not gonna
arena.
lie. I was also walking around to look at the food, which food had where.
Oh,
Because
Of
I
course,
knew
man.
eventually we were gonna eat something. So
Of
I'm like, all
course.
right, I'm just gonna scope out the
all right. Well,
area.
that's another goal. So then we keep walking, right? And then a second time
Yeah.
we see her, and then we did the exact same thing, but a bit faster now. But then she was being escorted by guards now, or like
Yeah, like
the
these big
security guys.
dudes. They're just like, oh shit.
But then it's like that was because I think she was handling the league Snapchat, so she's being escorted to backstage and all the other
Yeah, or
stuff.
something else. Yeah.
Yeah, taking pictures of the teams backstage and seeing the arena from different perspectives. So I guess that's what she was doing at that point,
Yeah.
and that's what happened. And then the third time in the arena, me and Harris were joking, and it's like, all right, next time we're gonna stop and say hi, because we thought because we met her twice, or not met her, but like passed her in the loop,
Yeah.
with the two lanes I described earlier, and then we made one whole lap and we're like, okay, she's not longer in because like if you're in a loop, you're gonna see eventually, right?
Yeah.
But then she comes out from the arena and then into the loop, and we're like caught off guard. We're like, and then we couldn't like I couldn't say anything because she was too far away. Harris was like in the inside of the loop, if that makes sense. So he was closer. Well, then Harris actually just like looked at her and then smiled at me, and I'm like, "What are you gonna do, dude?" And so then that happened, and then
Oh, so cringe.
we're like, uh, we're like, whatever.
Yeah.
It wasn't really a big thing because one, we could tell she was really busy because of the security guards escorting her everywhere, and two, the whole place was packed. Like we're talking about like when I said like loop, that's because people are going in the same direction and it's just a giant crowd going in this direction. So you kind of just have to follow the crowd because it's so tight.
Yeah, there's like no free space at all. Like everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gridlock. Yeah,
So we
it was gridlock, yo.
exactly.
Hey, at
Yeah,
least at
and
the
we
end of the
finally
day, you got your picture at the night. At the end of the night.
wait, man.
Yo,
That's the
man,
spoil. Whoa,
wow.
man.
You just
Follow the
went straight to the
storyline, yo.
end, dude. We gotta
Follow
go.
the storyline.
Yo, man, we got a time constraint, man.
All right, so then we waited for the merch line. I made $10 because these two guys,
Didn't
they
want to
saw me
wait.
in line. Like,
Didn't want to wait.
yeah,
Man.
I mean, yeah, it makes sense. So then, oh wait, before that, some guy from the press took a picture of us three that we can't find. So if you're in Russia and you see a newspaper with our faces on it, yo, shout out to us.
Do they
please,
even
'cause
know
we
what our
want-
faces
Nah,
are?
yo, that's
wanna know-
sketchy.
Alright, whatever. If you see three Asians in a picture
Yeah.
for LCS,
Please give a
then
shout out.
that's
Tell
us.
us.
Yeah.
And I want to
Because
see
we don't know
it.
where we don't know where that picture went. We were kind of just waiting in the merch line, and he caught us off guard. So then we didn't even ask which newspaper this was. He just said local newspaper. I'm
Yeah,
like,
yo.
okay.
I don't even know.
What-
I don't even want my image used for like. Yeah, I don't even want to say it, man. just please tell me.
So that was in the merch line, and then right after that was the two guys who approached me, and I got them their shirts.
Yeah.
And they gave me $10 in return just for waiting in line. I'm like, okay, that's cool. That's dinner.
Hey.
We each got the Toronto NA LCS Finals shirt, which is pretty sick. It has Jinx on it and the LCS logo. Min also got a Nara plushie.
Yeah.
I still have it with me right now.
Yep.
Like all of us.
And what else happened after that? After the merch line,
I guess
I
we
met a
just-
couple of my friends
yeah.
from school.
Other than that, we were just going around the loops, and then eventually, event time, it
Yeah, we're
became
just
time to
walking
get
around
back
and
in.
then yeah, went in, got into our seats, was pretty close, right behind the TSM players.
Yeah, we
We
were.
got a pretty good view of everything.
Yeah,
We
we
got
were
a view of
just.
the screens too.
Yeah,
It's pretty cool seeing how like uh, how they set it up just because it's live and how the players how their screens move. That's all you could really see, but it was just sort of different, you know.
yeah.
And the venue itself was pretty. It was sold out, so it was packed.
You want to talk about
What do you guys think of the venue, or just sitting in the arena? I mean,
uh in the arena? I mean, I want to talk about the games, like the matches.
all right, yeah. So game one, TSM lost to C9, and then the following three games,
Dance predictions.
TSM won.
Jeez.
So Min's brother predicted the 3-1. So I was right in my prediction. I called the 3-1 finals TSM, right? But Dan called it out. He said C9's gonna win the first one, and then TSM's gonna take the next three. So
I don't know if he just stole their script or I don't know how he's predicting all this.
yeah. So what did you guys think of the games? Let's start with Min.
I liked every game aside from game one and I guess two because we didn't get to watch two. We were eating.
Yeah, you're
Oh
so
no, I
hungry.
forgot.
Your
But
hunger,
game
So
one
your
wasn't like
hunger took us over, man, and we just left. Just tell them, yo, we left game two, sort of. No, we
all right.
left after
So
game
game
one.
one, yeah. So game one ended, and then they do the break in between the games, right? The 3.5 minute break or whatever. And so then we got up. All right, we're gonna get some food and some washroom break. Right. We get out, flood of people, like even more packed than when we were doing laps. We could barely walk. Okay, one
Yeah.
observation that was really sad but true. I was like, Harris, you
Like,
know how I can tell this is a league event? Is when there's a giant line for the male's washroom and
eh,
the female washroom is empty. And I'm like, now I know what they feel like. Now I understand.
eh,
Now I understand.
uh,
But
jeez.
eventually, we found a place that wasn't too crowded. I think it's also because people were getting inside because the game
the
two was
games
starting
was
while
starting
we
again.
while we were in line. So we were in line for food.
So long, dude. The lineup, man.
Yeah,
But don't
we got in
worry,
line for
I
food.
got my blessed Canadian poutine for $8. Of course.
It
ACC.
cost so much. Cost so much.
Of course it
Oh
would.
man.
But
Yeah.
whatever.
My wallet was crying as much as Steam summer sales, man. Like what the heck?
So then we were eating. Yeah, but
Him looking at the
wait.
yo, tell him we were looking at the
Yeah,
TV
yeah. So we
outside.
were we were eating outside by a table because that was beside the washroom. So then we just take turns and someone would watch the food. And so then we were there just commentating to ourselves. And it's like a
A poor man's
ghetto, yeah, poor man's
caster
caster desk,
table.
just sitting outside eating, watching the game. So we walk inside
Oh.
after we finish our food, right? We get back inside, we get to our seats, and then like 5 minutes later, the game ends. We're like, all right, that was game two. It's not like we missed anything because we were actually watching the TV screens, but we weren't in the arena for game
You
two
didn't
because we
feel
were.
the energy, man. It wasn't the same.
I mean, game two, there wasn't really. Game two, I think, was the least eventful of the games, in
I
my
just,
opinion.
I just feel like game one was just TSM not warmed up or something. Like they weren't
Yeah.
playing like TSM, so that's why I
But
just
even
found
then,
game one pretty bad.
I don't think game one was a good match in general as well because Cloud9 has such a huge lead, and it still took them however minutes it took them.
Yeah, we were just waiting, like, come on, just end the game.
Yeah,
Which would
because it was
be
Cloud9's lead was so like it was actually enormous. Like the solo lanes died, bot lane got an early kill, got an early double, and Jensen got an early kill on Bjergsen and so on. And like, dude, like that whole game was just that was the clown fiesta game of the series in my opinion.
yeah, pretty much.
For me, I think the most exciting game was Game 4 because that was the game that C9 could have won and made it to a Silver Scrapes Game 5, which unfortunately didn't happen
Oh man.
because I really wanted a Game 5. But that game
Yo,
was
Nar
such
yo,
an intense game.
Impact, man. Impact showed up. Is Nar.
Impact's been showing up in the playoffs.
He
Yep.
solo killed the Hanser on Echo like twice, and I forgot which game. Oh man.
He was like the shining star of that game. Like the rest of the team played solid until like when like I mean TSM was still playing better than
When
them,
C9
but
tilted, just say it, dude.
yeah, when Meteos tilted that third game after a really early lead on Zach, oh man, like that was not Meteos' game.
Yo, game four was like really unfortunate for Jensen too, man. Like he was doing the raid strat where you interrupt the jungler's level with the chickens.
Yeah, but that was the thing that the casters pointed out, where
Yeah,
if you start being predictable, then
obviously
the
TSM would
other
adapt.
team, yeah, would
Mhm.
adapt, and their adaptation was actually
Yeah, they
really
started with the
interesting
red
and
camp, which
really well done. Yeah, they started red camp, and that allowed for them to quickly get onto Jensen's
Talia.
Raptor take, which is really good
You
in my
really have to
opinion.
credit the analysts on TSM's team for being able
Yep.
to spot that and work on the fly.
Yeah, that was insane. Feels bad for Jensen, man. Yeah.
Yeah, but game four was just so intense because Cloud9 was pulling it back. Cloud9 was getting really good team fights where they could actually pull it back. Good Gnarls, good Talia wall offs, and at the end it was just TSM, just the better team, just came out on top in the 3-1 score.
I also feel like on game 4, Cloud9 was shooting themselves on the foot because they had to just finish mid game because their late game skilling was much worse than TSM's. So eventually TSM was going to win, mainly just because of team composition.
Yeah, and their it's not like their early game was good enough to get them into the mid game. Their basically their hope in the early game was just the Gnar because everyone did fall behind because of Jensen's Jensen being caught out in the jungle early on, and you could tell later that Jensen was devastated because I'm pretty sure it was apparent on screen, even to people online because they focused on the the team at the end, and you could see how heartbroken and how devastated they were. And even in the interview
Yo,
with Double If,
how awkward was it
you could see.
after game four? Why, like, C9 was just sitting there, man, just so distraught. It was so
Yeah, well,
awkward.
I'm pretty sure they could have left at any time. But I think for me, if I was the camera guy, I would have panned just a little bit more to the left so you couldn't see them in the background. You didn't like you could still get Zyrene interviewing Double If, and you didn't have to get C9.
I feel
Like they
like
were
they're
still in
just.
the background.
I feel like they're low key sadistic.
Oh man, it was so hard to watch because live you could actually like we still saw them like everything's popping off. TSM won, TSM's cheering on the camera,
And
right?
everyone hears
And then
TSM, the TSM chants, man,
yeah, the TSM
going
chants ring
crazy.
out, the streamers and all the confetti pop out, but then we can still see C9 on the stage, right? And you could tell that Jensen was devastated even from where we were sitting. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
And then
but they could have left at any time.
when I saw the live stream and then they zoomed in on his face after, I was like, oh man, come on, man.
Yeah, I just feel
I
because
was heartbroken,
uh,
man. That hurts.
those are two teams where I think the what's it called, the support for those two teams was just um almost equal. Like sure, TSM had a predominance in fans, but it's not like people
Yeah.
were rooting against C9. There were still people rooting for C9. I was rooting for C9 for game 4 just because I wanted a game 5 even though I wanted TSM to win, right? And the Toronto crowd was really good about it. When TSM won, there was TSM chants, and then when C9 left the stage, just as loud there was C9 chants, um, cheering them off.
The stage, right?
And as they were going off stage,
Yeah, and
so
I was screaming, cheer up Jensen, man. Yeah.
but I think overall that was a really good series. I think it showed how strong TSM really is, and I think
C9's gonna win
um,
the gauntlet.
no, I don't know,
Oh,
because
whoa.
I want C9 and IMT. Like in a perfect world,
Yeah.
I would have wanted all four top teams in NA to go because I think even though CLG is in a slump, I still think they're a pretty good team in the LCS, and just because they didn't win anything in spring doesn't mean that in summer just doesn't mean their performance in the spring season should be defaulted. They did make it to MSI. They beat TSM, and they even made it to the finals of MSI to face off in the finals. So that's a strong showing for a team. And I think that um, in the months ahead or in the month ahead leading up to Worlds, I think they can do enough work to make it uh, to win a couple games and maybe even make it to semis in Worlds. And I think equally, IMT and Cloud9 uh, can strongly represent NA as a region as well.
I just want to see the gauntlet again, man. C9 going through the
Yes.
gauntlet again.
Yeah, so because of the results of this weekend, IMT does start. IMT only plays one best of five, whereas C9 is in the gauntlet round before them, so they have to play two best of fives if they want to make it. And whoever wins with Envy and Team Liquid, they face C9. Whoever wins that faces IMT, and then that's who qualifies. What are your predictions for regionals? Because we did predictions for LCS finals.
I'm predicting Cloud9.
How many games?
For what do you mean by that?
Actually, just do the whole regional. Start from Envy and Team Liquid. Who's gonna win that?
Liquid just lost Stardock, so goodbye Liquid. I'm pretty sure Envy's gonna take that 3-1. Then Cloud9's we're gonna beat Envy 3-0. And
Ooh,
we're gonna see
3-0.
game 5 again. 3-2 to Cloud9.
3-2. All right, Harris, how about you?
Uh, I'd say. Sorry, run it down for me.
It's
All right, so
going to be Liquid versus
Team
Envy.
Liquid versus Team Envy.
Okay, losing Dardock. To be honest, they just kicked him out. They couldn't deal with his attitude, right? That's basically
Echo
what happened.
Fox Dardock. That's what it is now.
Yeah, you saw his picture, right?
Yep. I linked you the picture. He drew on the Echo Fox jersey.
That was so savage.
Uh,
What a classy man right there. That was
I
pretty.
mean, come on, Rick. Bring in bring in Santorin, please. Why you gotta do Dardock?
Uh,
Yeah, but I think they can do. I think Echo Fox can do definitely better with Dardock.
yeah. All right, Envy versus Team Liquid. I'd say Liquid's gonna beat Envy.
Liquid's gonna beat Envy.
Yeah, 3-1. Even
Okay.
without Dardock.
Okay.
They're gonna probably
Okay.
bring in some low key jungler.
They brought in
Like,
Arc second as their jungler.
I mean, they brought in Jint and he did pretty well in his games compared to Fabi.
Fabi. And then it's gonna be Liquid versus C9, right?
Cloud9. Yep.
And C9 will win that like 3-1.
Okay.
And then C9 versus Immortals 3-2. Silver Scrapes.
All
And
right.
that's the gauntlet.
For me, I think Envy can have it in the bag against Team Liquid. I think Envy will 3-1 Team Liquid. C9 will 3-0 Envy. I think
Damn.
they're out for blood. They're out for blood. And for Silver Scrapes, I think IMT will take it.
Oh, alright.
I believe that after losing semis once again, Huni will finally take games seriously, and someone on their analyst desk or a coach or something will tell him not to play Riven and just stick with what's there. There's Gnar, there's Echo. You can even play Gangplank. Huni, you played Gangplank before. They're already gonna use Rumble ban on him because they're
Hey,
gonna
but
force him off of that.
that's impact though. C9
Yeah,
that's impact versus Huni in the top lane.
yeah.
That would be pretty
I
insane.
mean, IMT showed up with the bot lane for against CLG. So why can't they show up against
Sneaky
Smoothie,
and Smoothie? Okay.
Sneaky and Smoothie? So that's what I'm saying. Um, take something off of Huni. You got Wild Turtle. He's popping off. He might still have the Canadian buff on him. All right, the hometown hero. All right, make him carry some games. Don't put it all on Huni because he'll just disappoint you when he plays Riven.
Not like this.
I'm,
Savage.
I'm done believing. I'm done believing in Huni until he can show me. All right. So that's that.
Wow.
I think it will be a 3-2 IMT though.
Alright.
Average.
Alright.
All
We'll
right.
see the results of the predictions.
Yeah. While we're still talking about LCS results, my boy Splice, they couldn't make it against G2. My heart was wrong. They went 3-1 against G2, but I think Splice will make a good showing in the regional qualifier in the Gauntlet, just because they were able to make it to the finals, and yeah, they were able to beat H2K like that in semis. I think they're not gonna like. It's almost unanimous going into regionals that people expect Splice to make it out. And then for third place, I mean, H2K has got to beat Unicorns. Like, no one doubted that. And because of G2's win, H2K was celebrating because they do auto qualify. Anything else for the world of LOL esports?
Nah.
Not really. Well,
Jin Air, or
yeah,
Freaks actually lost,
Freaks
or won
won
against
against
Jin Air.
Jin.
Yeah, so that's
Um,
interesting. It's happening, man. IMA qualified
Mm-hmm.
for Worlds. That's the biggest news. We were talking about NA qualifiers with CLG and TSM, and same thing happened with G2 and H2K.
And I guess if we're gonna go all the way, we have the qualifiers for wildcards. 4 teams left. It's
Yeah, they're going
between
on right now.
Int Esports, Dark Passage, Leon Gaiman, and Albus Nox Luna. The
So
two of those
basically,
teams will win.
yeah, so it's basically the top four, except Albus. What was your team name?
Albus Nox Luna.
Oh yeah, Albus Luna. They're the newcomers. Usually it's those. Not usually, but
wait, what's the
Lion
name?
Passage. Or no, Lion Gaming and Dark Passage have always shown a good showing
Mm-hmm.
at wildcard tournament. The Brazilian seed always shows a good showing. Basically, whoever makes it out of CBL or CBLOL, that's who makes it. This year it was INTZ. Last year was Pain Gaming, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this year's INTZ. It's basically like flip up between those two usually anyway. This year though, Albus. What was it?
Albus Nox Luna, the
Albus
CIS
Nox
region.
Luna.
Albus Nox
CI,
Luna?
Yes.
yeah.
What the
CIS
frick?
made it. They knocked like so the Japanese teams didn't make it. Surprisingly, there is no Australian team that made it to the top four this time.
Nope.
Yeah, because they used to have a strong showing with either Chiefs or Legacy, but now it's the CIS. I think Dark Passage is Turkey. I think Dark Passage is Turkey. The INTZ from Brazil and Lion Gaming. What is Lion Gaming?
Lion Gaming is Latin Norte. So Latin America North.
Okay, yeah. So the the neighbors to the Brazil League. So there's that for going into Worlds. So then after talking about that results, we exited from the ACC. We are trying to hang out for a bit, see if the teams would hang around and we could meet them, but sadly that didn't happen. We ended up wandering around downtown looking for a place to eat.
That didn't happen either.
that
How is
That
there
didn't
no
happen either.
McDonald's? How is there no
Yeah.
McDonald's downtown?
How
What?
is there no McDonald's downtown or near Union Station? Like, please, why? That's the cheap food destination, the fast food destination that you go to.
Yeah.
But
Hey,
there is
the
one bright
miracle.
side.
The miracle.
The miracle. Harris, stop believing.
Yeah, I stopped believing,
Harris,
yo.
stop believing. But I was always out. I'm like, whatever, dude. Anything can happen. So we were on the lookout. We were still bummed because
We
we didn't get
chickened
to meet
out.
as much people. We didn't get to meet as much people, and I think it only stuck around with us because we saw Pokemon like 3 times, right?
Yeah.
Like I was bummed out when Scara couldn't make it, but I'm like, okay, I am.
You got
Expectations
Travis.
were low anyway. Yeah, I got Travis. Oh, that reminds me. That reminds me. Before this story,
What?
just quick rollback. When we were walking around looking for teams, we actually saw Dan Din. So shout out to
Oh
Dan
yeah.
Din
Thanks, Mr.
for
Din.
signing our stuff and taking a picture with us. He's been
I
he's
love
been
his
a
legacy,
meme
yo.
in
I
our
love his legacy.
yeah he's been a meme in our group of friends ever since they came out with that Silver Scrapes video, and he was the only one that was
Sleeping.
sleeping. So
Hey,
shout out to Dan Din. We had to excuse me. We were able to make conversation with him, talking about the results of the game just briefly.
yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty cool of him. He was just hanging around outside the exit of the ACC. That was really cool of him.
Yeah.
And then so back to the miracle at hand.
Yeah, we were about to leave. We were about to
I
go
was
to the subway.
I was on the lookout. So this whole day, I was basically the person that spotted people. I don't know what my strategy was or like what I saw, but I just like I don't know. I just somehow saw people, right?
Yeah.
So corner of my eye, we're crossing the street, corner of my eye, where we looped around downtown. We like even went as far as Harborfront, and then we came back up, and then we were back at the ACC.
About to
We're
go
like
down to
pretty
the
bummed.
subway, right? Yeah.
We're pretty bummed because we're like,
We didn't
all
get
right, we're not
food.
gonna get food to eat.
We didn't
Yeah,
see
so we're just
Pokemon.
so then we'll just go. And so then I spot her. I'm like, wait, Harris, take a look. Is that who I think it is? And he's like, nah, man, just give up, yo. That's enough of that. I wasn't joking, cause we were joking about like, alright, what if this happens? And then Harris is like, nah, I give up, yo. And I'm like, I know, but just turn around, look at her, and then Harris is like, oh, it's Pokemon, and I'm like, alright, Harris, let's go. So then it was really cool of her.
Yeah.
We stopped her because she was taking pictures with some fan that saw her as well. So then we came up. Harris, what was the line? What was the line you used?
What?
Harris talked to her. Like, hey, Pokey,
Yeah.
can we take a picture?
No,
And then,
I'm actually a really big fan.
Well, it
Yeah.
was just a funny situation. So then we couldn't use our phones because it's dark. So we got Mint's camera.
Hey,
Shout out
professional
to Mint's
quality.
And
Shout out to
we
Mint
got our
for being
pictures.
the photographer.
And we got our pictures with Pokemon. So let's go, Harris. Let's
Let's
go.
go. Shout out to Pokemon. Thanks for the pictures.
So that was a really good way to end. We walked a bit more. We saw a shuttle bus that the casters went into, and we saw Aframu and Zion there. We didn't stay for a picture though because there was just a giant crowd.
I
As
couldn't
we were
even
walking
see them, to be honest with you.
I couldn't even see
No.
them, man. I'm too small.
out.
I'm too small.
And so then we walked to the subway and we saw Hotshot, but there was another giant
More
line. So we're like,
crowds.
okay.
We gave up on the McDonald's stream because it's too far. I was getting to a point where I wasn't even hungry anymore. I'm like, oh, screw it.
But we made the subway and
Hey,
there we go.
it ignited
End of
it
LCS day.
ignited our passion to play League again. So we ran up
Passion to play
the
League
old
again.
L on the on the desktop. Clicked on the L, updated the patch. Boom, back at it again, boys.
And then we played normals
Yo,
with a Smurf.
yo, we couldn't go straight to
we've been
rank.
playing against
man.
level. We've been playing with Harris's level 12 account just to warm up, just because we haven't played for so long, and also because Harris's account decayed to diamond. But that means me and I stopped playing when I was gold because I wasn't really that much of a solo queue player anyway.
Yeah,
So we weren't able to dynamic queue.
because of me.
Um,
And you guys decaying.
yeah. Well, I don't decay, but
Oh, well,
Yeah.
Yeah, gold doesn't decay anymore.
yeah.
yeah.
But like,
Yeah, I just stopped playing when I hit or around
Yo.
gold 2 just because
yo,
we just played 3v3 or
where can we
5v5.
watch those games, yo? Where can we watch us popping off?
I'm not gonna plug it, yo.
Man, you wanna?
Whatever. So, if you're watching or if you're listening to this live, it is on the Twitch stream. I've been getting into streaming and Min's been doing it for a while now, but that's new for me. I think maybe it's because of League LCS Finals, but I think it's also because I got a new desktop that actually lets me stream. So
It feels bad, man. I'm the only one with a doo-doo laptop still. I could just
so
barely
that was
run
that. That was
League.
That was our NA LCS experience. I would definitely do it again.
Yeah, same man. If it comes to Canada, like close by, I'll definitely like, take a drive
Yeah, even
just to go there.
even close by. Cause I remember last year we were me and Min and a couple of our other friends from high school. We were talking about um, we were actually considering driving to New York and going to MSI or not MSI, Madison Square Garden for the finals.
Damn.
But luckily, it came to Toronto this year, so we just had to take a train ride. Anything else you guys want to talk about for the finals?
Nah.
Nope. I'm just
All I gotta
satisfied.
say
All I
is
gotta
that
say is Pokemon.
that's not what I was gonna say, but yeah, all I was gonna say is shout out to the people, even not even the people that I took pictures with or got signing, but like all the people that were there that were interacting with fans, like the Twitch streamers like Pokemon, Travis and Skara, even the pro players. I heard Aframu and Zion actually took a large picture with the people hanging around there.
Yeah.
Even though they were on their way to the hotel, they stuck around, which is really cool of them. Because this is like the Toronto crowd, the Canadian crowd that they've never been to before,
Yeah,
right?
there's like the
There
first
wasn't
time, right? That
yeah
they got
first
to see
time
their
for a Riot
Canadian
event.
fans. Yeah.
Yeah, for a Riot event to happen.
I hope they do it some
Yeah,
more, y'all.
so shout out to those people. And if there's ever a Riot or a big league event coming to your town, or that's something that you can go to, I definitely recommend it. It's just a really good experience, and it's way more different than just sitting at home watching the stream.
Yeah.
All right. So that's it for league news. I'm pretty sure it's been a slow week. Um, Nothing really new other than we've been playing it. Nothing new for Hearthstone as well. Week 3 came out since the last time we recorded and uploaded one. I think we can save that for next week when we talk about week 3 and 4, and then we can have our bigger Hearthstone talk about the whole expansion in general.
Yeah. Then we could just summarize the whole expansion, how it changed the game.
Yep. Anything new for Overwatch, Min?
Want to talk about?
Uh,
Oh,
we
sorry.
have we have Overwatch Open that just finished up. So we know the 8 teams going to Atlanta for both NA and EU. And those 8 teams are Envy, Cloud9, Fnatic, NRG, Sploy, Sodipop, Liquid, and Method for NA. The biggest upset I found was Complexity not making it.
Yeah,
Complexity,
Complexity didn't
formerly
make it.
known as TSM. That was the biggest upset
That was
for.
weird. Just because they had a pretty good showing in the Atlantic Showdown compared to the other NA teams.
Yeah. So.
Not like the NA teams did any good, but compared to the rest of them, they did better than Cloud9.
Hey, Complexity made a show like. And on
Yeah. Who
Europe,
would you
we.
expect to
For what?
do? Oh, out of the sorry for the NA teams, who would you expect to do? Well,
Envy.
out of those 8 teams, Envy.
Envy. I'm hoping that their first LAN at Gamescom finally made them understand how LAN experience will be like, and maybe they can pop off this time.
All right. What about the coming back of Cloud9 and even our boys from Luminosity, now Energy?
Cloud9, they have a lot to prove since Gamescom. Although they did get a 2-0 in their group, which doesn't mean too much because the teams aren't that great, but that's something, I guess. But NRG, I believe their group was the complexity group. Yes, it was. It was a complexity group. So aside from complexity and method, I don't know if NRG really had anything to prove either. They did still drop a map. They did go 4-1, so they went 2-1 against method. But yeah,
Okay. What about the EU teams?
EU we have Anox and the new FaZe clan, Reunited, Luminosity, Misfits, Rogue, NIP, and Team Dignitas. Now the shocking part for me is Rogue
Rogue isn't
did
making it.
not get top 4. Like they got 5th
The
to
winner,
8th.
winner of Atlantic Showdown doesn't make it to this.
They made it, but like they're in the
No, I mean like
5th
yeah,
to 8th first. Like what?
they didn't make it.
The
All right,
hell?
who would you suspect? I'm assuming Reunited's up there.
FaZe Clan's actually showing a lot of promise. They've taken the They've taken the lineups from We United. It's a
Mm-hmm.
troll name, and Oh No. So there's two players from those two, and they've made a mix of three Americans and three Europeans for FaZe Clan again. They've been showing promise, so whether they choke or not in land, that's to be seen. Who knows?
Any other team we should look out for in EU?
Dignitas has something to prove since Gamescom. They have everything to prove because they didn't show that great of a performance ever since their pickup from the org, ever since their days from Creation Esports. So they have a lot
Mm-hmm.
to prove. This is also a $300,000 tournament, I think. So that
That's a
should
lot
be
on the line.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
All right.
300,000 USD.
Before we go into our PTR impressions,
Oh god.
uh, another big news for Overwatch is that the Overwatch World Cup teams have been revealed.
Yep.
So teams of note, at least from my perspective, Team USA, they do have Seagull as captain, but they also
Hey.
bring in Stir and Tailspin and Adam. Those were voted in, and then Seagull chose Gods and is it Messer or Messar?
Messer.
Messer, yeah. They were chosen in. So I think that's a pretty strong team. Working together, we'll see. But I think Team USA can do well. For Team Canada, our home team, Surefour made it in, obviously, as team captain, and Wiz, Poke, or Pokey, ID, Logan DeBeast, and Huck made it for the team. Some other questions of note, uh, points of note. I think Team Sweden is almost clearly the favorite going into this. Just look at their lineup.
They got a lot of talent there. It's like
They just look
crazy.
at their lineup. Yeah, IDQD, Save, Jibshajan, Sebasai, and then IDQD even brought in Coco and Tavik into the team. So that's that's a pretty
Crazy.
stacked team. It's a pretty stacked team.
You're not even like
Um,
that's not even tapping onto Sweden's potential
yeah,
because they still didn't. They had Mendo Sokai still there too, and he's an
yeah.
insane player.
I mean, IDQD just. I mean, he only had 2 slots to fill for
I
the
know.
rest. Everyone else is
Sweden
voted
has
in.
so much talent
So
there.
yeah, I mean, that's probably the favorite for taking that tournament when it happens, because it's gonna be hosted at BlizzCon 2016. Yeah, I don't really know much of the other players for the other teams for even the Americas, which contains a lot of Latin American teams and Europe, even teams from Asia and Pacific region.
I feel like you have to watch
Team
out for
Korea, Team
China and
Korea
Korea. Both
has
those
yeah
two will be
China
scary.
Korea. Team China basically brought in
IG.
IG's team. It's all of IG's team.
Yep.
That's the entire team that made it in. So
Oh,
Team
they have
China,
one person from IG Ice. The rest of them are all on IG Fire.
yeah. But that's only because he got voted in.
Mm-hmm.
If it was up to the captain, all IG fire. And then for Team South Korea, they got a few top ladder people. And then 2 people that were chosen in were from MIG.
Which is now known as Freaks. Africa Freaks.
Yeah. And yeah, I think those will be the 2 top showing teams. At least just from my region. And then included in that, in the APAC region, is actually Australia, and Muselk made it in as team captain. So another TF2 personality that moved over to Overwatch, another captain. So we'll see. A lot of people are excited for Team Australia as well, but we'll see the performance. Yeah. Another funny thing is that I don't know if it was Mexico or Brazil, but one of their players is like SR56. That's only because they got voted in because they're a personality, they're a streaming personality. So that's pretty funny to me.
You're troll.
But it seems like this whole event is a much more lighthearted event because it's at BlizzCon, as well as it's a World Cup, which I don't think you've really seen from Blizzard yet. Not from HOTS or even StarCraft. of this sort. So it'll be an exciting event to watch when BlizzCon comes around. Anything else you guys want to talk about for Overwatch before we move on to PTR?
Not really. It's pretty slow
Yeah.
for esports side.
All right, I'm gonna throw it over to Harris because him and I are yeah because we have joined Min in the PTR ranking. How are your impressions of it so far?
Uh,
And not just yesterday's games, which we did really poorly, but our whole experience in general.
I'd say it's with the new ranking system. I think it's fine. It's just they have to tune it a bit, from what I've seen.
Yeah, there's actually a rating, not rating, a fix that was put in recently, and they gave out a notice on the forum saying that the PTR skill rating system has been adjusted. Um, it is only temporarily wonky right now, so everything has to even out again because they put in the fix. Because before it would actually, like we were seeing it yesterday, where people would win and gain like 2 points. In my case, they'd only get 2 points and I would lose like 100 in the next one. So it's just the system working it out. And like Whitman says, you'll always just default to your
You'll go to your
to,
tree low
yeah.
eventually.
What about the game so far, Harris? How have they changed from you from competitive season 1 to PTR? Or in season 2 actually, because we're playing on that.
Uh, I'm not sure really. We haven't played a lot of games for me to judge it. Cause if I say something, it's definitely gonna be negative. So I just want to keep the most optimistic view on it.
Give us the truth though. Give us the truth. What have you not been liking? We're here for the hard truth, Harris.
Oh man.
I mean, if Paris doesn't want to say it, I will.
I'm not gonna say it.
I
I mean,
I mean
I know I've been underperforming in those games, truthfully, and I do accept that I made some errors, and like I really need to fix my computer for those games because I can't run Overwatch properly. I'm lagging all the time, my internet. So yeah, that's my
Hopefully, when I give you an Ethernet, I'll fix it.
fault. All right, man. I'll toss
Hopefully.
it to you, man. Just go uncensored right now.
My main problem is that people just realize it's PTR and they just don't care, or it just brings out the worst of people when they start trolling. Especially a
that's what I've
Symmetra
been
attack.
that's that's what I've been that's what I was gonna say as well. The PTR mentality is carrying over. Um which is yeah. I'll just let you finish that thought and then I can bring up another topic on that. I was just gonna agree with you.
Well, I can assure you that once you go higher up into the ladder, people just realize that it's still ranked, so we should still take this seriously. It it's a it's like a how should I say it? A stepping stone to how you'll actually do into the real one. So some
When they
people in the
actually
higher
take
up
it
into the
seriously.
ladders. Yeah, I have pretty good comms when I play on my main. I can tell you that much. So and no troll picks. So people actually do take it seriously, see how far they can actually get. Because that system's gonna hit live, and you trolling around and not seeing where you're gonna get placed. Don't come to me if you get placed in like gold or like silver and don't get shocked. Because you didn't take the system and you didn't see what the system can provide, how it
You
changes.
didn't respect the system.
This system will fight back if you don't
When the
respect it.
system bites back. Jeez.
But yeah,
Yeah, yeah, what I was gonna say is basically that um I do understand that it is PTR and that's where they're testing a lot of stuff, and that's why you're seeing such a weird flux and change in the rankings and how that's happening. But they are implementing changes, and it just needs to work out in the next couple days, maybe in the next couple of hours. But we'll see. So there's something wonky with that, and it just means you have to play more games to see where you actually are at. Um, but yeah, one thing I want to discuss is seeing how there's sort of a dry spell in between season 1 and season 2 because of uh, just how it's set up and how they want to take in seasons. I think a better idea would be um, like PTR is for testing, but I think in between seasons you could have the preseason and put like similar to how League does it and have like this a certain period of time where people test out what's being changed, and that's what I think should be played in not the PTR but the actual client. So like say you have, because right now like people are complaining so much about quick play and how it's been like way more cancerous than before just because of there being no competitive. So I think one solution they could do is actually um, have all this testing stuff in the PTR before the season ends, before it rolls out. So like say season 2 is coming to an end, have season 3 PTR already be on PTR then. That way when season 2 ends, have push the season 3 PTR or the season 3 preseason and have it already go live so that people can play on this new patch and test out all the different balance changes, all the different changes that they're going to make in between seasons. That way when season 3 comes, they're ready and there's no big dry spell in between season 2 and season 3 in terms of gameplay because people can still practice in competitive because a lot of people just really want the one hero or yeah, the one hero limit. um but yeah, just give people a place to play competitively and not ruin games for people who just want to play casually in quick play. And I think that could help a lot um, for people not playing in as much in between the two seasons.
I saw a suggestion before the season ended somewhere on Reddit. I don't know where, but it was a suggestion of still have competitive mode and still have that ranking change as if in season one, but like just so you can see you progress, but it doesn't actually give you anything, if that makes sense. So you'd still
Can you
have
say
the
that?
season one format, but you can still play competitive. You can still have that one hero limit. You can still play in that competitive format. It's
Yeah.
just
So
like
basically,
a quick play.
like the opposite of have season one extending rather than having season two earlier.
Yeah, because like, well, season two you still have to test it out. That's what the PTR is
Yeah.
for, and like,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
everyone hated season one with the coin flips.
Oh God.
I'm pretty sure you can implement draw
PTSD
if
from the
you really
coin
need to.
flips.
But
Yeah.
that's
So
the
it's
thing I saw.
basically, yeah, it's either or. You either extend season one so people can keep practicing, because not everyone's gonna go to PTR, right?
No, some
Um,
people don't even have it
or
installed.
just have PTR, um, have it ready so that everyone can play the changes and practice it before season two rolls out, right? And that way they can even have more eyes on it. So either or, just to have sort of more people playing it as well, because there are a lot of people that aren't playing Overwatch right now
Yeah,
because of this.
and not only that, it's a pain in the ass to find scrims. It's like, hey, do you want to play a PTR? Nah. And some people do, some people don't. Just like, wait, what's the point of practice in PTR? Like literally any change could be tentative, and the next morning, whatever you're practicing, throw that out the window.
Yeah,
Like
that's the other thing with
sometimes that's a
PTR
pain in
Yeah,
the
is
ass.
that
that's not a problem.
it's just because it's the test region, they are making changes frequently, which is good because it fixes some stuff. But yeah, that's not really the most stable environment to play on unless you're really adaptive.
You know what? I
But
have a
it's been
question for
fun.
both of you too, though. What are
All
your
right,
thoughts on Eichenwald?
I
Now that
can't
all
both
right.
vote.
of you have gone time to play it.
Uh,
Harris, you go. You go first because I have a bit to say, or not a bit, but I have something to say.
Man, when we started that map, I was so lost. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Like design wise, it's so beautiful. Damn. Like I never appreciated the art style, but like of the castle and stuff, but it was really nice to see. Strategy wise, I did see a recent video from Overwatch Central, I think, where they were talking about tips
Yep.
and tricks on like how to attack on Eichenwald, and my biggest problem so far is the first point, the first entrance, where you just have to brute force it, and like it really sucks. Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
only thing I have with that. And
All right.
yeah,
I can agree with you
Or
there. Yeah.
yeah, for me, so a couple points. Just for like the seeing it for the first time, I think it's important that people do play or at least I think when it hits live, I think Eichenwald can't be put in the rotation and like give it like a week or two,
Yeah.
because you can't, because people who aren't on PTR right now, they're gonna be overwhelmed because it is such a different map, um, design wise compared to the other maps that they have so far. So I think it's really important that they see the transition of adding in a new map and playing around with it.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with
Um,
that.
because this is sort of similar to when um, it's not as it's not like back then it wasn't as bad as Eichenwald, because capture or the assault game type, you basically have the one capture point in the middle, so it's very easy to understand because you have the several flanks, but eventually you'll find the most optimal routes, and it was pretty easy because there was only the one point. But with Eichenwald, with a map that is capture hybrid, we capture point and then move the payload, it is a bit different. Um, First, I just want to touch on the design of the map in general. I think it's really exciting how they're um, not only experimenting with heroes and the synergies and stuff like that, and balancing around that. They're also seeing if they can bring in um, new metas just based on maps in general and balancing around that, because Eichenwald plays a lot differently from other hybrid maps,
Hmm.
say Kings Row and Numbani, for example. Um, with these maps, there is some verticality with the raised platforms along the way of the payload, but Eichenwald just does it so much better because the height of the map is just so much more, and they they do this really well because it it makes it feel like defending is much more effective, but at the same time when you're attacking it feels much more, how would I say, satisfying, because you're pushing up against such
You're
a,
freaking
you're
attacking a
feeling,
castle, bro. A
yeah,
castle.
you like the just the magnitude of what you're facing. It seems like the scale is much bigger, so the just the design behind adding more verticality to the game uh, gives a new dimension to the feel of how players interact between the two teams. And I think just adding verticality is a really good way to expand on a map without being too watered down with just open space. There's still various areas that you can explore, but it's still confined so that it's balanced in a way that players aren't just out in the open too much. Now there are the design flaws. The main point is taking capture point A. With Eichenwald, it's kind of weird to see that attacking team is almost not favored, whereas every other map on the in the game is attack favored just because of how it is. But with the first point, it's because going through main is basically funneling the entire team there. Even like the starting flank routes around the map, like say you go out the right entrance instead of like the main entrance, you will still be funneled into that one point, which I think is a major flaw in this because it makes it so much harder to attack and just so much easier to defend on with when you're comparing two evenly matched teams, just because of how the funnel is so big. If you look at a map like Kings Row, people can still make it through main or going through theater and into back alley. But if even Numbadi, you can make it
Top.
around
Yeah.
through back alley, go through top, and even, I think Numbadi has the most paths in general for um, that game mode.
I
But
think
if you look at
4.
Eichenwald, yeah, it's four. If you
Okay.
Hmm.
count
Yeah.
main, if you count main, bottom, um,
The wide
bottom
left
health back
entrance.
room, the wide left, and then top
The upper
right.
left, yeah.
So if you take a look at Eichenwald, just that main point, they do have the branching paths, but it eventually leads back into just that main archway, which I think is a flaw because that just makes it so much easier for a defender to attack unless you have like really good flankers that can take care of their team right away. But you're not going to see that if it's two evenly faced teams, right? And then when they do make it out, you still have the whole payload way to go. And with the new system they have
But
um, for
there's a
hybrid and
lot of
payload maps.
sorry.
Oh no, what were we
Uh,
saying?
After that choke point though, there is a lot of flank routes going to the payload though.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
Yep.
gonna say that.
Uh,
Yeah, with the payload, it opens up a lot more, which is I think where the map excels in design because of the verticality of it. I think that middle pathway from capture point A to castle That's the best part of the map. Castle is a bit too confined, but I think it's sort of the same as the other ones. Kings Row is a bit better with that, just because that pathway still has many different avenues to go, and you have a lot more high ground. Whereas um, in Castle, it's still it's basically just a giant hallway. There isn't really that much high ground because everything's so enclosed. Um, Numbani is a lot more open as well. If you take a look at that, it doesn't have a lot more high ground as much as Kings Row, but it is a lot more open, and people can still go far right, um, going from payload, or even go through health pack room, and then uh, or even go left. So there's like three paths going with the payload. Um, yeah, so I think the main winner for this is the, let's say, route from point A to Castle.
But
But
to be
the
fair, in Icavont's defense, the defending team should be favored because, like, if you're
yeah,
trying to take a castle in real life, let's be honest, the attacking team's not going to be favored.
yeah, conceptually it is what makes sense,
Gameplay
but
wise, it doesn't.
gameplay wise and game design wise,
No, it
it
doesn't.
isn't. It doesn't. It sort of doesn't line up with the rest of the maps because it is more attack favored. Just because, um, which is weird because if you think about the run up from first spawn for defenders and the run up for first spawn for attackers, attackers should definitely have the advantage, but the amount of times that defense can just easily survive at that main choke to point A, that sort of lopsides it a bit too much in my opinion.
You know,
And as a result, even if they capture point A, just the amount of time that an attacking team loses, and they still have to make it all the way to Castle. I think it's a bit much compared to the other hybrid maps.
I
Yeah.
do feel like we're going to see a different meta for the first point, though. We might be able to
Yeah,
see more vertical heroes coming out, such as like a Pharah. A Genji might even come out
yeah. Anyone that
if
can
he
make
can
it
make it
past
past the roof.
anyone that can make it past that choke will be uh
Rewarded.
used for that.
I
Yeah,
mean,
will
we
be
might
used
even
for that.
see like Diva and Winston be come out from
Hey.
that.
Yeah, definitely Diva. The Diva I see being used a lot already from our Eichenwald games. Winston, I think so too. But I think Reinhardt's just really good in general for
But
payload
the thing
maps,
is,
so
like,
maybe not.
yeah, I feel like after you cap the first point, Reinhardt will be swapped over.
Yeah,
Well,
Yeah.
I'm just thinking that the first point, you need a lot of verticality to get past that first choke.
yeah,
So if Genji can make it past, and I saw Lucio Reddit GIF where he was able to wall ride past the top. I don't know
yep.
if they're gonna fix
So
that
That's
later, but
insane.
he's able to get past over.
yeah, there are
Mercy can
only
fly over
two.
with Pharah.
There are only There's only the two that can actually make it past that choke, and that's because you can walk around to the far right. So like there's the choke, right? If you keep going to the far right, Lucio can wall ride that castle around, and Pharaoh can just fly around.
Can you just
So
use
those are the only
Mercy?
two.
Mercy can, like, if you
You could,
follow.
yeah, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
it's
I mean like
usually two
Oh.
that's
supports as meta, right?
but then that's like if Farah is there. So that's why I'm
Yeah.
only saying two. Yeah, but this map does do a lot game design wise. Um, I think from what I'm seeing, I think Blizzard's uh point in this map is changing the meta a bit so it's not stale, and that's because yeah, like what you were saying, that just the first point will bring out a whole new class of heroes people have to use, and then from what I've seen, I'm pretty sure from path from point A to castle, it's a whole new meta for defense instead of assault. Just because if they use the verticality well, a good defense team can utilize a bunch of different defense heroes to do well in that. So I think um, if their philosophy behind creating that map is creating more diversity in hero picks, I think they did it well. But they might have to make some changes to the first point, either making a new pathway to make it through, or even if in their testing they see that players can get through point A a bit, maybe add a second checkpoint um, from what's it called, from the path to castle, so that they get more time, because a lot of the games I've seen if it's really even, the attacking team, even though they get the first point, they will run out of time.
Yep. I've actually hardly seen a full cap of Eichenwald.
Yeah, it's very rare. The only times we actually capped ourselves was in quick play,
Yeah,
and
and a
that's not a very
brawl.
good judge of it.
Also, I'm
Yeah.
just testing right now. Winston cannot make it over that roof that I was thinking of, so maybe not Winston. I'm trying so hard right now. I cannot get over that wall. Genji can.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact Farrah can. Winston is having a hard time. But yeah.
Yeah, maybe Junkrat can too if you do it properly, but that's very it's not as certain as Farah.
I'm
But
getting
yeah,
close every time. But yeah.
those are my main points for Eichenwald. That's just my suggestion for maybe seeing how they could change it if they don't want to make the point a more vulnerable, because we never know how they go developing these levels, because they could have already tried that and have seen that point A would be an easy take with one extra path. That could easily be it. Maybe they rearrange it a bit more, because Numbani does it well, and so does King's Row with having more than one path. Um, Maybe even like remove some of the houses that block so you can get over more frequently.
I would like that.
That could help. Um, that could help. My previous suggestion of adding an extra path and even adding the extra point like you have with Gibraltar, or what Gibraltar used to have because it's now taken out. But just giving that extra time, that could help. And we still have a bit before season 2 starts, so there might be some changes there.
You don't understand
Um,
how hard I'm trying to get over this roof right now. With Winston, it's not successful. What I did figure out is you can, if you're on the defending side, jump over that roof. So that's something you can keep in mind.
okay.
But
Yeah.
Eichenwald needs a lot of work. And I saw Jeff Kaplan on the Blizzard forums that he's looking into the numbers right now, and they're trying to find a solution to
Yeah, that's the
trying
one
to
thing
balance
that
the map here.
PTR, they can obviously see the numbers in who's winning as much as, and I'm pretty sure it's pretty skewed to defense right now, just from the games that I've seen, and yeah,
And the only reason
um,
why the changes are coming now is because they don't want people to just have a knee jerk reaction. They just want to have a lot more data to work with.
yeah,
That's why the changes
and
are coming now.
that's why I think they should have the foresight um, to delay Eichenwald's rotation into the maps that are being played in competitive, just because um, it is a new map and people have to get used to it, but also because of the balance issues that the map currently has. So I think maybe give it 1 or 2 weeks before it goes into competitive after season 2 starts. I think that would be ample time. I don't know their timeline or development process, but uh, I'm starting to think that people should, uh, or not people, but the developers should delay it a bit going into quick play or competitive play.
Okay, I just figured out a way where attacking Winston can do it, but it requires 2 jumps.
2 jumps.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's on the dead bastion by the broken roof window, if you guys can see. Well, obviously can't, but if you go into an icon vault, you can see a dead bastion by the broken roof on the attacking side. You have to stay on that ledge, and then you have to make a second jump. And then from there, you can make the jump over. So technically speaking, it will take 10 seconds because the jump is 5 second or 6
Yeah,
second cooldown.
I was gonna say that might not be as effective if your team can't hold out for 10 seconds.
But if they don't
But
see it coming, it might be a good plan.
yeah.
So it might be a good cheese. But
All
that's
right.
live testing.
So I think that's pretty much it for PTR. We're just seeing a lot more Mercy. Um, yeah,
Yeah, something
seeing
that.
a lot more Soldier after his buff. Uh, yeah, not much more. Do you have anything else for Overwatch?
It's just been really, really slow. It's just been a slow week for esports this week.
Yep. And I think with that, I think we had enough to talk about this week. just a quick recap. NA LCS was a blast. Would recommend to anyone. Hearthstone will be taking up next week after the full release of the expansion, and we'll talk about our general impression of that. So next week might be a Hearthstone filled week. And I think no, because Overwatch season 2 returns September 8th, if I'm correct. 6. I keep thinking 8th. So 6. It won't be back by the time. Oh, it will. It will be
It
back
will
by
be
the time
back
we
by
record.
the time we record. One
But
day.
I don't think we'll have enough time to talk about as much. So there might not be as much Overwatch, and we will be going into the school season again. So we might not be able to play as much, but we will try to keep these coming out weekly. With that. Anything else, Min? Any last words before we sign off?
Before we sign off, I'm going to sign off for Harris's sake as well, because he just had to take a early leave about 10 minutes earlier, and he wishes everyone the best, and he thanks everyone for watching, and so do I.
Yeah, and uh, signing off that going off that point, we are moving our podcast to YouTube and even Twitch. I will be live streaming the podcast recording like it is now. So that's the uncut, unedited version. I think it's a pretty cool addition. You get to see it. You get to see it live. But we'll also be moving to YouTube. So Min said you'll be watching it. Hopefully in the future we can do a lot more with a video version of the podcast. Right now I just have our graphic on screen, our brand new graphic. I don't know if you've seen it yet, Min, but it's the Triple Q podcast, and it has the League, Overwatch, and Hearthstone icon on it.
Yeah.
Yep.
It looks
I
very
think it
good.
looks
Nicely
looks
done
snazzy.
to you.
I mean, yeah. I just said it looked good, but then it's like you're revealing it that I made it.
Of course.
So I might be biased.
I have to give
but
credit.
yeah. So hopefully we can do a lot more with video podcast. Depending on how editing goes, you might be able to see some of the pictures that we took at the LCS Finals. That might be included in the video podcast, which is uploaded to YouTube. Other stuff that might be included might be just screenshots of news that we've been talking about, so that could be useful. Yeah, and we're only moving to YouTube just because SoundCloud has a really stupid system where you can only upload a max of 3 hours to an account, and we're doing a podcast, so that might not be the best. Yeah. We're also trying out the new format that we tried this week of having a more general talk, because I've noticed from the last 2 podcast episodes, we've been doing a lot more sort of news reporting and what's been going on, and I think it's much more easier to listen to just us talking about the topics rather than reporting different news happenings with the different scenes we're talking about. So there's that. We'll see how it works out. So hopefully everyone can see our stream live, to see the behind the scenes of that, and catch our video podcast on YouTube soon when we get that channel up and running and uploading to that. And I think that's it for now. Thank you for listening, and we'll be back next week for another episode of Triple Q Podcast. We'll see you then.